sentence of the second paragraph is Servius, not the sons of Tarquinius, is the king after Tarquinius Priscus. So Tarquinius Priscus was king number 5. He dies. He has 2 sons left. His wife, Tanaquil, tells everybody he's just sick. He's fine. Meanwhile, listen to this guy, this trusted advisor. He's in close contact with the king, and he is relaying the king's orders. The name of that servant, that person, was Servius Tullius. So Servius Tullius was this advisor to the king. And then upon the death of the king's wife, Tanaquil, manipulates the situation that elevates Servius. And you notice Servius is very close to the word for slave. Elevates Servius to the throne. And he takes the throne, but it's a little dicey because there's some people who are saying, well, why aren't the natural sons the following up? And this guy, he's not even from this area. He's like from Latin maybe, and there's rumors that he's really the child of a slave. And so he takes the throne, but it's not under the best of circumstances. And so that is how we transfer the power from the 5th king of Rome to Tarquinius, the 6th king of Rome. Which leads us to the last paragraph. So tonight, for homework, you're going to need to translate the last paragraph of the story. And it's going to kind of be like what we did last time. Tomorrow I'm checking and I'm basically looking for, do you have a good faith effort to translate the assignment? Everybody who completes the homework gets matched up with a partner. And if you don't have it and you'll be working by yourself, you'll get to compare with a partner. And then on Thursday, we will check paragraph 3, and we will probably be on pace to have our test on Friday. So let's look at that 3rd paragraph. So we start off with post multos annos, filii Tarquinii habet uxores, filias servitulii. Now, if you look on the next page, you see the uxores, filias servituli, is kind of translated for you. So that part of the sentence is going to be pretty easy. Tarquinii, we've seen that phrase before. Habent is a verb you're familiar with. But the story starts off with post multos annos. Now, these are words that you've had previously, but not necessarily this year. So this is a prepositional phrase. So let's think about what would this prepositional phrase mean. Does anybody have an idea? Braxton? Okay. Anybody remember what annos is? After many years. So this is an introductory prepositional phrase. After many years, and then the rest of the sentence you should be able to do. Okay, now if you look in the next sentence, unus a... Make sure we get this right. Unus a filiis. We have seen this construct before. We saw this in the Horatius and the Caratius story. And so this literally means, this is literally translated as one out of the sons. That is the literal translation of that phrase. But the way it's used in this concept is one of the sons. So one of the sons is this, the other son is that. Okay?
Oh, wait. So
not necessarily the feelings, more like their attitude, their temper, their character. Okay? So one of the sons this way, the other son is that way. And then the other sentence, we're on line 2 of the paragraph now. Una filiabus tuli bona est, una mala. Basically the same sentence, but now we're talking about the daughters of Servius. So we have the sons of Tarquinius and the daughters of Servius. And something's going to happen here. The next sentence, duo maladuos bonus artemis necant. Everything in that sentence you should be able to figure out with whatever you have in your toolbox already, or remember to use the glossary. Anything that's in italics is going to be covered for you in the glossary. Tum malus filius malam filiam in matrimonium ducet. Now this is where you're going to have to use a little bit of creativity here. If you look at that phrase, in matrimonium ducet, the glossary on the next page tells us what to do there. It literally means leads into matrimony. But I'm not going to say, I led Paula into matrimony in 1994. No, I would say I married Paula. So that's how you're going to translate that as marries. Okay? And then the last line on that sentence, Servium tulium vir malus necat. We have a compound sentence here. Beware, this sentence is not in traditional Latin word order. Pay attention to the endings. Remember, case tells you the noun's job in the sentence. And then et filii servi femina mala carlo super corpus agit. That's the second half of this compound sentence. Femina mala, do you see that? That's another example of an appositive. So femina mala is an appositive telling us something about filia servii. Super corpus is in your glossary. It's a prepositional phrase. Cardo is going to be one of the uses of the ablative that we've learned. Tarquinius malus nunc rex est. You should be able to do that with what's in your toolbox, but again, this sentence is not in traditional Latin word order. So as you're working through this paragraph, remember, several of these sentences are not in traditional Latin word order. So do not presume the first word is the subject of the sentence simply because it's the first word. Questions on any of that? We good? All right. Here's what I want you to do. I want everyone to take out your agendas. Put your agendas here on the table. I'm going to do an agenda check. And I'm going to check